past few weeks, YouTube has been inundated with stories about Passover 2019. It has been described as everything from the reintroduction of the ancient Jewish customs to a very specific event in Bible prophecy. I really think all the Passovers are special, and this is why. Passover, for those who don't know the story, is a period of time where God prepared the Hebrew people for the Exodus. At the same time, it was punishment for the Egyptian people. They were being punished because they wouldn't let the Hebrew people go. Passover is connected to the first fruit of barley offering. At the time, they eat mazo, and in the days of old, a lamb was sacrificed and the blood was put on the doorpost of the Hebrews and their Egyptian allies' doorpost. This blood was to keep the angel of death away from these houses. At the same night, the Hebrews and their Egyptian allies got up together. They got all their belongings together, and they walked in search of freedom while they ate their flatbread. They had to leave kind of quick because they had to leave quick, and the bread wasn't able to rise naturally. So, why do Passover 2019 stand out from all the other Passovers? This Passover may include a Passover sacrifice of a lamb for the first time in 2,000 years or more. So, most people just shrug their shoulders and say, good for you. Continue this age-old tradition. It's true that Jesus was the ultimate Passover sacrifice, the lamb slain before the foundation of the world, but it's also a Hebrew tradition to do all the incense and all that kind of stuff like that. But the reason why this sends chills down my spine is because it reminds me of a verse that I read in the Bible, and this is what it says.
And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week, and in the midst of the week he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. And for the overspreading of abominations he shall make it desolate, even until the consummation, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate.
Thanks no doubt to his military savvy, but he was also a political genius. He was an excellent, benevolent manager of men. Historians have called him humanist. The Jews call him Mashiach, or Anointed One. His own people called him Father, and even the Ionian Greeks whom he conquered called him a just and worthy lawgiver and ruler.
Then if any man shall say unto you, Lo, here is Christ, or there, believe it not. For there shall arise false Christs, and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that, if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. Behold, I have told you before.
They believe when the temple is rebuilt in the city of David, their man, the person that they had handpicked, was at some point going to walk into the Holy of Holies, take the blade and shed his own blood, and then proclaim himself to be the Messiah. And then these sons of the fallen, they plan on ruling the world.
And another thing, a lot of people, they got a lot of confusion over what's it about. Like, they think that a whole temple has to be built in order for the sacrifice to be complete and for it to be validated. But what they don't understand is that Solomon built the temple. They were Jewish people serving God and doing the sacrifice long before they had a temple there. They used a tabernacle. A tabernacle is a tent They can pitch a tent in like 20 or 30 minutes with all the items inside of it and the Holy of Holies inside of there. So they don't need a whole big old huge temple to do this. And a lot of people, they miss that. All they have to do is go with the specifications that God gave the people, Moses, when he built that tabernacle in the desert. Because the Bible tends to favor, in the early days, they favored nomadicism. So, and like Cain and Abel, Abel was the good son. He was a nomad, and he herd sheep. And then later on, like they were asked to move around and stuff like that. So, a tent. And think about it like this: God, he's too big to fit in a building. How you gonna put God in a building? So what I'm saying is that that tent is like a home, but God is all over the place. And so he don't need a whole big house, a temple.